evening and welcome to Wind Down Wednesday here in the CEO District. Come on in, ladies, come on in. Listen, I gave y'all a chance to just go ahead and get in the mood with your wine and go ahead and get settled down so you can enjoy this Wind Down Wednesday. As a matter of fact, go ahead and share this broadcast on all of your different platforms because this night right here is what a lot of women need. So let me tell you all a little bit about Wind Down Wednesday and who I am. My name is Keisha Spencer, also known as K Marie, the High Queen here in the CEO district, and I am also the director of member engagement. So my job is to just keep you guys entertained, engaged, and informed. But most importantly, I have created this space on Wind Down Wednesday for women to just take a moment in the middle of the week and relax, relate, and release. That's it, that's all. So go ahead and get your bottle of wine and get your glass out. I already have mine. And go ahead and share this broadcast, tag your friends in it because you want to experience this tonight. So I have a special guest on here tonight that I'm super excited to be on here with me as an honorary co-host tonight. And she is pretty much the perfect person to join me on tonight because, listen, she has her own wine, okay? So, and she's actually going to be sponsoring Wine Down Wednesday. So, just to not keep you all in suspense, I've already put it out there. So, I got my girl on here tonight. I got Nicole on here, the CEO of HerWines, on here tonight. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hi, hello.
Listen, super excited to have you on here tonight to talk about your wines and to also wind down with the ladies here in the CEO district and wherever you are listening. Just we're so excited to be on here tonight. We got a super special topic to talk about tonight, and I know a lot of you ladies are going to relate, and we definitely want you all to tune in on tonight. But before we get into this topic, I want to talk to Nicole about her wines and tell us more about who you are.
Yes, oh my gosh. First, thank you so much for having me on the show. I am so excited. Come on, Wind Down Wednesday.
Okay.
Woo! I love it. I love it. I'm so excited to be here. So, for everybody, my name is Nicole, and I am the owner of Her Wine. Her is actually an acronym. A lot of people don't know that, but it actually stands for having evolved repeatedly. And so
Yeah.
the idea there, yeah, the idea there is that I wanted to create a wine that is there for the journey. We are constantly becoming better versions of ourselves, evolving every day to become better mothers, better spouses, better caretakers, sisters, business owners, whatever the case may be. We're constantly working, to become better versions of that. And I wanted a wine that complements that journey and that's there for the person that you are today as you are becoming the person you want to be tomorrow. And that's really what Her Wine is all about. So I'm super excited. We have 4 different wines that are in the portfolio right now in our collection. I am sipping right now on Girls Night In. This is a mango wine. So yes, Girls Night In. Yes, that's the one.
Yes.
That's a hitter. That's a hitter.
Listen, I ain't gonna even tell y'all what kind of wine I'm drinking on because I forgot to pick up my bottle. But definitely the next time you see me on Wine Down Wednesday, listen, I want that. I want the girls' night. I want that one. That's the one I
Yes.
want. That's the one. And see, this right here, I'm just not gonna put y'all in my business and tell y'all how much I paid for it. But you know it is Wine Down Wednesday, so
It's one
your
down
girl has
with.
to get something to wind down with, okay? So let me take my
I
sip
love
real
it.
quick.
I love it. But yeah,
But
I'm
my
super.
glass real cute though.
Your glass
Thanks
is
to
cute. It's the
Kelly
lips
A.
for me.
Barnes.
It's
It's
the
it's
lips for
only
me.
listen. It's only right to do it the CEO way.
Yes.
So, first and foremost, super duper. I know I hadn't known you that long, but super duper proud to know you as a black young woman with your own wine. You know, that just speaks volume as far as your ambition as a young woman. You know, and just creating a different lane. So, really kudos to you for that. And I know it's a lot of women are going to be inspired by this and this alone because who knew, like,
Yes.
when you were a
Yeah.
teenager, did you say I'm gonna have my own wine? Like,
I never did. Not as a teenager, but I will say I always knew I wanted to do something entrepreneurial. I knew I
yes.
wanted to own something. I just didn't know what it was going to be. And it's funny because that was always a dream, but then I got into corporate and I started climbing that corporate ladder, and that dream started to, kind of fall by the wayside. And it wasn't until I got into this very interesting, transformative place in my life, where I was feeling unfulfilled, and wine was always there throughout every phase of my life, good, bad, ugly, whatever the case may be. Wine was always there, and so it was kind of a natural thing. And it's something I love. It's something I love wine. So it was something that was interesting to me. I love drinking it. And I started out making wine myself actually. So that's really how like the wine
Oh
really got
yeah.
started. Yeah, I was making it myself, chefing it up, like a little science experiment in the back.
So you got to really like to drink wine in order to want to experiment making wine.
I think so. I think so. And it's funny because this honestly started because I was getting bored with wine. I was getting I had been drinking wine for so long that I was getting bored. It was like the Moscatos were all the same, the Rieslings, the Ray, everything was kind of tasting the same. It was boring, and I didn't see a brand that represented me, and it's there's some good wines out there, don't get me wrong, but I see Sutter Home, I see Stella Rosa, and those names, they don't resonate with me. But
Right.
so I had to create something that actually meant something. So when I'm on the shelf and I'm talking to my girls and they're like, girl, like we need to get together. Who's got the bottle? And I'm like, I see girls night in. Immediately, I'm like, oh,
This
I got
this
this.
us, sis. This what we drinking
It's
tonight.
us, right?
Period.
Yes. So that's really what inspired it, man. I'm so fortunate. I've been so blessed. I'm so excited that people really just love the different wines that we have. We have two new wines that are coming out too. We're about to Yes, we're dabbling into the sparkling wines now. So
Okay.
yes. So we have a bubbly Riesling and a bubbly Rosé that are coming out in September.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, that's big. That's big, and congratulations on that.
Thank
But
you.
so, do you have? I hear you just had an event.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the event.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I hosted my very first public wine tasting. I've been doing private wine tastings for a while now, but this was the very first public wine that we did. I partnered with this beautiful venue, Black owned in Atlantic Station. It's called a Queen's Tea Party. So she hosts tea parties. Yes, it was so. When I tell you, when you walk in, you just feel so girly, so pretty, so cute. It's just classy, And everybody came out in their cute, attire, and it was such a fantastic, fantastic event. We're gonna do it again. We completely sold out. We sold out.
Yes, sold
It
out.
was. I was like, come on, guys. Yes.
Everything was beautiful. The
Oh,
colors. Listen, I
yes.
seen the little photo booth. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yes.
Now
You
I was supposed to be every bit of in that photo booth like
Yes.
this.
Yes. It was such a vibe. And my wine tastings aren't traditional wine tastings either. We have whistle. It's a whole vibe. So We're sipping wine, but I'm teaching you things about wine. We have discussions. There's like exercises that we're doing. And then at the end of the day, I also do wine cocktails too. So you're not just sipping wine, you're going to have some wine cocktails where we remix the wine and created these unique blends that pair my wines with other Black owned spirits. So you can see other things that you can do with your wine, if you want to mix it up a little bit. So yeah, we have a good time. We get
Listen,
lit,
it's
girl.
about the experience
Yeah.
sometimes. So I loved
Yeah.
it. And that's why, I'm so attached to Wind Down Wednesdays because, it's just a signature for uh someone allowing themselves to unwind, and why not do it with a glass of wine? I
Hello.
mean, so I want to go ahead and get into the topic for tonight.
Ooh, yeah, let's talk
So,
about it.
listen, ladies. Now it's been weighing in on me because throughout my journey is always having a, a, a profession that caused me to have to maintain a certain persona. I've always been a boss, a manager,
Yeah,
just in a lead position, that I had to carry myself a certain type of way, and I had to really sweep things under the rug, things that I couldn't deal with, things that could have been addressed, but I may have chose not to address it because I had to be a certain type of way for the position that I was in. So tonight's topic is kind of on the verge of that, but we just want to get a little deep with it. So the question that we're raising on tonight is, why do professionals, meaning entrepreneurs, people with certain roles or positions within their careers, why do they shy away from talking about their feelings or expressing their feelings?
yeah. That's such a hard, like that's a tough topic. It really is. And I feel like I'm in a unique position a little bit because I prior like around the time where I was starting my wine business, I actually got promoted. So back in 2018, I got promoted and I was leading up the corporation I was working for previously. I was leading up their creative services team. And we were I was young, right? So I was the youngest person on the team, and I was the manager, and that was my first time being a manager too. So, and I'm Black, and I was managing a team that did not look like me. And it only had and I ended up hiring the only other woman. It was two women that were on the team. One was on the team already. I hired the other one so that we could have, like, a little bit of more diversity there. But yeah, it was interesting, to say the least at first. And being young, being female, and being Black, all three of those compounded, I really had to be very cognizant of how I maintain my composure when there were certain situations that arise, because being a manager, you're pretty much a problem solver. That's all I did was solve everybody else's problems all day long, which is fine. But a lot of times what comes with that is you can't have the emotional response that they may have, because you're the manager. You have to maintain your composure, and you have to, or so they say, right? You're supposed to kind of keep this stoic, unbiased, kind of composure. And that was hard because naturally we're emotional beings,
Right.
and sometimes I'm mad. So, to be
Right.
honest, I had emotion. I did, kind of show emotions at some point, and I think there was power to it because you have to be strategic, right? I couldn't be too emotional where they felt like I couldn't lead them, but there were some
Right.
times where I had to show empathy to a situation so that they understood, like, hey, I understand where you're coming from. I feel just as frustrated as you do about the situation. Let me figure out how to handle it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's kind of like that's kind of what what helped me, because I was a young manager at the age of 18. I was given the keys and said, boom, you're a manager. And so, I was an assistant manager, and my store manager was extremely tough. Like,
Mm,
her deliverance was firm. It was hard. And so
yeah.
it's like early on I had to develop tough skin as far as, the way situations made me feel, or if I
Yeah.
wanted to respond back, and being able to pick and choose my battles and things like that. But it taught me a whole lot, because it taught me how to stand firm on what belonged to me, whether it was my
Yeah.
position, whether it was the store. And so when I went on to become a store manager, and I was like one of the youngest store managers in our region, so it was like, you gotta put your game, face on, and you can't
Yeah.
be little girl no more thinking somebody gonna feel sorry for you. I really had to, but I had been working since I was like in the sixth grade, so just
Yeah.
being in work environments and handling certain situations, was something that I had gotten used to. However, it still didn't stop me from having feelings, and you know what I'm saying. And so
Yes.
what happens is, because you have to hold this you have to hold, you have to stand behind this wall, and you have to
Yes.
stay in this shell, because again, you can't react to everything when you're doing it from a place of emotions. You have to strategically prepare for a response sometimes. And
Yeah.
so, you know, but you go home with those things.
You do. And that's the hard part, is going home to it. So I have
Right.
it's interesting. I remember the very first time that I had to experience maintaining my composure in an emotional environment. So I was 17 going on 18. I was like senior. Like this was like the job in between graduating high school and going to college. I was trying to collect some coins so I could have some stuff for school. And I was working at this store in the mall. And it was the store was it was a place that was patronized by a majority Caucasian women. And I'm the only black woman that worked there, right? So here I am, young, I'm 17, 18. This older lady comes into the store and she starts talking to me, and I'm showing her some of the products and stuff like that. And this lady comes and tells me, she was like, you know what? You remind me of my old slave.
Look,
Yes.
we both.
Right. Right.
Listen, I had to
Yes.
do the lean
Yes.
back. Wait a minute.
Girl, she went on and on to tell me about how she had this slave, and how that was, they grew up together, and that her mom was like, her nanny, and that she used to call her big mom. She was talking. Now mind you, that lady did not look old enough to have a slave. She looked like she might have been senile. But and it was so crazy, and it completely caught me off guard. But the interesting thing was, like, I'm over here trying to not turn up on this lady for calling me, like saying, I remind you of a slave. What? That was first. But the messed up part about it was, I looked, my manager, who was an older white woman, was within earshot, and heard the exchange, saw me looking like a deer caught in the headlights, like I don't know what to do, and completely turned a blind eye, didn't say anything, act like and I'm looking at her like, help me, like that Kevin Hart skit, like, help me, hello. And
Right.
she just completely bypassed. So when that lady left, um, I went to the back and I cried, because I was just like, oh my gosh, it was just so many emotions that came in on
Right.
me, like this woman just called me a slave, and it was like 2008, like
Yeah.
what are we doing here? And that was the first time I had to, kind of maintain my composure, not go off on this woman, not go off on my manager who just completely abandoned me, and try and maintain my composure, because I really did feel like the woman might have been just a little off, just a little off. But we get pushed into situations sometimes where you have these emotionally charged scenarios that come up, and we as Black women a lot of times have to find our way to kind of manage our emotions in the moment, and that can be a lot to take home. That can
Right.
be a lot to take home.
Look, look. I think I hit the. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, okay. I had a little freeze with the internet, I
I
had to
know.
make sure that I wasn't stuck like a deer in the headlights myself for a moment. But
You
listen,
crazy.
I bet that was extremely hard because, like you said, you that was a big situation that could have went in a totally different way had you
Yeah,
reacted, because that would have been something that was expected, and it could have been like a starting point of a different life journey for you.
yeah.
But because you
That's
knew who you were in that moment, you was able to to just
hold
maintain your
it
composure, keep
in.
it in, and be like, you know what. Mm.
What we're not
But
gonna do today.
right, and I think that's when we as women have to learn how to find that place of peace, so that in situations, I think we're froze again. Okay. Yeah, we as women have to find that place of peace, so that when situations occur, whether it's, during business hours, whether it's with the client, whether, you're working on your job and it's with your employer, your boss, your employees, your team. I think that knowing your pressure points, knowing what triggers your emotions, and I think we have lost connection here, but yeah, until she comes back on. But I do think that just knowing what triggers you to react a certain way and protecting your peace, being able to just walk away and process what you've experienced or what you've heard before you respond to it. I know it's easier said than done, but like many of us that are entrepreneurs or business owners, or have certain type of careers, we have too much to lose for someone to attack us because of our response. And so it's better to be more strategic with our response and allow ourselves to feel, um, from a more peaceful place,
Yeah.
instead of in an emotional space.
And that takes a lot of I don't know if practice is the right word, but it really takes a lot of intention, because
Right.
sometimes your natural response is to be like, excuse you, like I remember I had this one time I was working corporate America. I've been in so many different corporate spaces where I've had some of my Caucasian peers who feel, because I might be the only one. Like I've been in environments where I was literally the only Black person in the entire company, or the only Black woman in that department, and so they feel, because of my personality, I think sometimes they feel comfortable asking
Yeah.
or saying certain things. And I had this one person who had, was trying to talk to me about weaves and asking me if my hair was real, but in front of a whole crowd of people. And I'm like, I had some explicit
You
words just going
tried
in
it.
my head, and I'm just like, I had to keep my composure and be like, well, actually, this is, called a weave, and this is a sew-in, and how it's made is da, 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 da. Like,
But
you know
the
what I
the
mean? And they're
fact
like,
that you had to explain yourself
Right.
when if you really, I mean, are you trying to get your hair did? Like, what was the purpose of you even asking me about this? So,
Right.
but you could have popped off like that,
Right.
but you chose to
Right.
deal with it. And it's a lot of us out here that may say, I ain't all the way there yet, but it takes intention. And if you know where you're going, those little I, I want to say those little small things,
Yeah.
those little small little stumbling blocks, that really ain't nothing. You really can just walk on over it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
And a
really
lot
can
of
say
times,
this ain't even a part of my path, so why should I even give it any energy?
you can't. You can't. And I'll be honest, a lot of times what I realized, hindsight 2020, a lot of those situations that some of those white women put me in, they were tests. They were
Yes.
trying to test me to push it to see if they could push a button to trigger me to, kind of be painted as this angry black woman, when in actuality, I'm not. And if I show emotion, that doesn't mean that I'm the angry black woman. It means that I had a moment where
Right.
this that bothered me and you need to be checked.
And you
But
know what? And that's not just with like another race. Sometimes that's like within man versus female.
yeah,
Men think women are just. I've heard them say it all the time, and I hate the term unstable creatures, or think women just so emotional, which
yeah,
women are, but so are men. We all have human nature to
yes,
feel and to react to things. We just all do it in different ways.
yes,
And I do think that as a person in business, it's a little harder to feel or to,
express
show
your
your feelings or emotions publicly because, you know, that shows a sign of weakness to anybody that's praying against you.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, it's like soon as the enemy see that, you've let your guard down.
Now they know your trigger point. They know how to push your button. Yeah. I think, for me, one of the things that I said for myself was it I never wanted to give someone enough power to alter my mood and my emotions and to take me out of character, because
Right.
that's happened like when I was younger, like I dealt with that. So I made a vow to myself at a very young age that I would never allow someone to have the power and the authority over my emotions to have me step out of my own character. So now, if I show any emotions, it's going to be in a classy and tasteful way
Right.
because that's just who I am. But
Right.
you still understand, like, there's a way to check people respectfully. I
Right.
know that's the thing, right? So respectfully, I'm gonna check you and make sure you understand that you need to respect me and you're not
Right.
going to step over me, but I don't have to cuss
Right.
you out and get, quote unquote ghetto hood on you in order for you
Right.
to realize the strength of what I'm saying.
Like prime example, not to even bring this topic up, and we don't have to get real deep into it. But like the slap between Will and Chris Rock,
Right.
the way he responded, but also I don't know if you've seen this interview with Tiffany Haddish, and the interviewer
Yes.
saying, your little costume change or something. She said, and so she was
Yeah.
like, this is what
Right.
success looks like. This is what money
Right.
looks like.
Right.
Listen,
Right.
and so there's just like two prime examples of reacting because you're emotional and
Yep.
you just fed up and you hadn't really processed your feelings, and so you blow up. You have a
Yeah.
blow up moment,
Yeah.
like that smack was like a blow up moment. Like at this time, I think in his mind, he was like, you know what, I'm about to get all this and dang how y'all feel about it. Dang how y'all feel about me afterwards. But somebody finna get it. And I'm finna make
Right.
an example on public TV.
But you
Probably
know
wasn't the
what?
best decision, but
It was, and I get it, right? So I think a lot of people can understand maybe why. Like, we don't have to get into the whole psychology behind it,
yeah.
but I think that one thing to take away from this is how impactful it is when you are a business owner, when you are a brand. You cannot allow yourself
Come on.
to have those moments, because it only takes one for the public
That's
opinion to
it.
switch on you,
That's
for you to
it.
miss out on everything. This man done lost that Academy Awards. He's banned. There's so many deals that, movies that were in the production phase that pulled out because now his brand is tarnished, and he
Right.
is now associated. Like, people are going, they're not thinking Will Smith, the funny, cool, quirky, goofy guy.
No,
This
that
is
was
old Will
our, one
Smith.
of
They gave
our,
you that.
that was Hancock.
Right,
What
right,
the
right. So he channeling Hancock in here now. Like, no. So it's like, is it worth it to
right,
completely ruin your career? Is it worth it for this one person who may have, kind of triggered an emotional response out
right,
of you? You gotta take a breath and not allow people to have that authority to have you opt to move the way you don't need to move, because it can be
right.
detrimental.
And it's just like me being in media, you know, I may ask somebody a personal question because naturally I'm a transparent person. You know,
Mhm.
I'm a very honest person. I'm an open book pretty much. You know, what you see is what you get on
Yeah,
all platforms. If you see me in public, if you talk to me on the phone, this is
yeah,
what you get. It's K Marie all day long. Listen,
yeah,
half hood, half holy. I'm a extreme professional, but I
yes,
know how to turn the switch off and on when needed. But
yeah,
I've learned to balance, and because of that balance, I'm adaptable. So whatever situation, or like a chameleon, like I'm able to adapt to my surroundings. And having a balance in your life like that is also a form of peace, because you know when to react and how to react,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know and you because you can't use the same approach to all situations.
Right. You
And
can't.
so, like with Tiffany Haddish, she knew she was on the red carpet. She knew she was being interviewed. She knew that if she did too much, that
Yeah.
it will backfire
Body
on
on.
her. But she
Yeah.
also had to stand up and represent.
Yeah.
So, without insulting you, let me
Yeah.
just adjust my crown and let me just
And let me check you real quick and let you know who you're talking to real quick
this
in the
that's
most
it. That's
classy,
all.
respectful way.
So listen,
Yeah.
lesson learned, Tiffany. Come on to the CEO district,
Yes, I
and
know.
let's talk about what success looks like one on one. Come on.
That's real. But you hit on something too, and I want to touch on that. I think sometimes people make this assumption that if you have a balance, right, the code switch, as we like to call it, that you're being fake. And I really want to debunk that, because I feel like I'm the same way. What you see is what you get. And I had to learn that, like, to just show up as my most authentic self.
Right.
But I also understand that there's a time and a place for different things.
Right.
I'm the definition of clatchet. I can be classy and ratchet all at the same
Come
time.
on.
Listen, I'll be sipping wine and turning up to Lil Jon and to back that, Juvenile. Come on. You can do that, you know what I mean? But I also have to realize when I'm in certain environments, you got to just,
Exactly.
it's an awareness. It's literally an environmental awareness of knowing when I can turn certain things on and when I need to kind of keep them, kind of keep it
Tone
cute
it
and
down.
classy.
That's even with the way you dress, to certain events. You
Yes,
know, you know,
yes,
is this the event for me to wear my booty shorts? Like, is this? Do I want to give them legs, or
yes,
or do I want to give them brains? Like, what
yes.
do I want their attention to be on in this moment?
Exactly, exactly. That code
So,
switch, it translates to everything from how you talk, the vernacular that you use, the slang that you're using, the way that you dress. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, like, I was a manager of a team that was older than me and that did not look like
right,
me, right? So there were certain things that we just didn't relate on because I didn't even know about it. Like,
right,
there's some things I just didn't know. It just is what it is. So I had to, and there's some things about me that I didn't allow them to see that side of me because that was none of
right.
their business. To be honest, you don't need to know what I'm
That,
doing this
right.
weekend. I'm gonna be at the club. Yes. But you
Exactly.
don't even
But
know
I don't need you all in my business like that,
that. Right.
because you're. I put it like this. This is what I've learned. Like I have, and it's okay. And I want all women to hear this and to receive this. It's okay to have separate circles of friends.
Ooh, say that.
You don't have to have the same bunch of friends that's with you in every area of your life.
Yes.
Everybody has a position in your life. That's just like your children. Your children, every child is different, so every relationship is different. So
Yeah.
it's certain connections and things that you may do with one child that you may not do with the other child because that child just doesn't like it,
Yeah.
or not they're not interested in those type of things, or because of their gender, or whatever the case is.
Mhm.
And that's the
Yeah.
same with your friends. You got friends for certain things, and that's okay. You shouldn't feel guilty about it. You shouldn't feel like you're betraying this circle of friends because you do this with this circle of friends. You may have a group of friends that you like to travel with. Y'all
Yeah.
may not do anything else but
All we do
travel
is travel.
together.
Yeah.
Y'all may not talk about each other's personal lives and what
Yeah.
happened at work or none of that, because y'all ready to go travel, sightsee, enjoy the world, take pictures and all of that.
Yeah.
Then you may have your set of friends that like I like to say the shoulders, like y'all just sit around and you had your count on me to
You're
be
right.
there. You had them friends that you just sit back like, baby, they
Yes.
know every secret. They know
Yes.
every, they know all your dirty stuff, everything.
Right. You can be your most authentic self. Like that's
Right.
them.
Then you
I'm
may
cursed. I do everything.
then you may have your professional circle of friends where
Yeah.
this is, I mean, these are the boss coaches, and this is what we do when we get together. We talk, it's money talk. you know
Yep.
you everything else at this moment is relevant. We're trying to just see how we can
We can
expand them
grow and build.
dreams.
Yep. Yep.
That's
Exactly.
it. And
Yeah.
then you may have, your turn up friends. It may be people that you grew up with, that
Yep.
you just have a good time with, like your family. And so, you may not bring them to the conference, or you they
Yes. That's something that is so real, having those separate friend groups and being able to be okay acknowledging that. Like I'm the one, so I had to learn this the hard way because I have several. I'm a Gemini. I am a social creature. I have I have different friend groups. And I used to always try to merge my friend groups together because it was like, let's
right,
all hang out together. And it does not work that way. And I had to realize that, my class, I don't want to say classy, but my more, like work friends and the ones that are a little more professional and have their own businesses and stuff, they're not going to necessarily turn up, right? Because to your
right,
point, like they're gonna always be composed because they understand
right,
their brand. But I got my homegirls that be ready to hit these streets
right,
and get outside, right? And so I know that those are two separate entities, and I can
right,
be whichever version of myself I want to be, but I can't merge those two. And so I
right,
can't take my homegirl to this corporate event. It's just,
right.
it's not gonna be. I can't have her like, hey, what up, what's good? Like
Yeah, hey, what a music and all that.
right, like drink using the open bar and getting
Because the
drunk.
first thing she gonna think is you acting bougie,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
your friend, your that circle is not, you know, accepted, of her personality. But in same thing, vice versa. If you
hmm,
want to take one of your, into this circle, they may not even feel comfortable, and
and
because
that
sometimes
environment, right?
people are not exposed to the same things.
Yeah,
So when you a person with multiple layers like that, and most of the time, if you're a CEO, you are probably a multi-layered woman, and
ooh,
that's why we run a multi-layered organization
yes,
where we focus on the health, the business, the wealth, and the social, because we know that it's many parts to the woman.
yeah,
God didn't create you just to be one way. He made us ever evolving. And like you said, and your acronym, that's real.
Yeah,
That's real.
it is. It is. Oh, I think you muted yourself.
Oh,
There
listen.
you go.
Okay. So yeah, I just think that it is powerful for a woman to know balance.
Yes.
You
And that's exactly what it is. It's balance. It's not being fake. You still show up as your authentic self, but you just have to know like when to turn on certain parts of your personality and when to reel them in. And kind of put that piece of yourself in different environments. Just reading the room, reading where you are.
right,
That's what it is. And
right,
that's how you succeed. I mean, the real winners, the real people in this space, like you see, they know how to code switch. I've met
right,
multi-millionaires who I've been in rooms when I met them in corporate environments, and then we hang out on like a more personal level, and they might have a party or something, and they turn it up, but they know
right.
that environment is a completely different environment.
Exactly, exactly. You just got to
Yeah.
know when to turn it on and turn it off. And that's the same thing with, how you respond with your feelings. Like, you have to know where you're at mentally before you can react to certain things, because if you're already going through the motions, and you know that your job is just not it's like you already got to go in with a shield of protecting your peace so that you won't slip up. Like, you almost got to just know, you got to know yourself.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's the awareness. It's
Yeah.
the knowing that Sheila get on my nerves and she better not say nothing to me today. But it's the knowing that even if she does say something to me today, I'm just gonna smile and I'm just gonna keep on going about my business.
I have learned that the best thing that I can do, because I've had situations where I've had peers that were intentionally trying to get under my skin, and I really learned that there's so much satisfaction in showing that I'm unbothered.
Right,
There's so much more power
right.
in getting people and being sweet to them and nice to them despite how they may be acting towards you.
Hey,
It's power in that.
Toya.
Yeah.
Listen, and that's even on social media, but because social
Yeah.
media is so popping and communication is right there for the public eye. Like, the way you respond to people that come for you is important too. It's almost better if you just hide their comment, delete their comment, and not even respond
Yeah.
before you get into a back and forth situation where by the time somebody done told you, girl, delete that off your post, everybody done already read it and followed along with the story, and then put two and two together and made their own, you
Yeah,
know.
assumptions on what it is. I will ask myself. So what I learned is when I'm in a confrontational kind of scenario or environment, I take a quick little breath, because sometimes we're talking real time, so you don't have time to do a whole breathe exercise. Take a quick little breath, and then I think to myself in a millisecond, like, is this worth it?
Right,
Is it worth it? Are you willing to risk it all? And 9 times out of
right.
10, I'm not, because I know, like you said, you got to know where you're going and what you stand for. And is it worth it to risk it all for this situation right here? And 9 times out of 10, it's not. It's not going to be worth it. Not
Exactly.
going to be worth it.
Exactly. So yeah, I definitely, want to do this again. And it didn't seem like it's almost 10 o'clock here on Eastern Standard Time. Listen, I have to remember that I'm on Eastern Standard Time because I am a new Atlantan in this thing. So
Hey,
what's up, Atlanta? K Marie is here officially.
ah, we
And
love it.
I'm super excited. Big things are happening, and as I am embarking on a new journey, I came down here. It's no secret. I came down here to grow in my business and in my brand. I've already got a platform started for myself and a following, but it's just like you have to go when you are called.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? It's not that often that you are pushed into a certain type of space. And if you're not paying attention to that shift and you be still
yeah.
and you don't respond to that, but you can respond to little
It's it.
foolishness,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
gotta listen to the bigger voice.
Yes.
If it's not making you money, it's not making any sense. If it's not, you know, filling you with love, with
Love and
encouragement.
happiness, joy. Yes. Yes.
Listen, if,
Positivity.
listen, I want all the fruits of the spirit.
Right. And
So
if
if
it
it's
ain't
not
positive, I
giving,
don't want nothing to do with it.
listen, if it's not giving fruits of the spirit, I don't want it.
Hello. Keep it away, sis. I'm
Listen, you know
good.
they know. Listen, they say all the time I'm a hood saint because
I
I
love
love the Lord. I listen because if it had not been for Him, I wouldn't be where I am today. And so I try not to transition wind down Wednesday to like Bible study, but you know y'all know what we stand on. It's no secret here in the CEO district. But we also like to wind down because we have the right to wind down.
because we deserve to run down.
Come on.
That's it right there. That's it. That's our tagline. You deserve it. That's our
You
tagline.
you deserve to wind down. Every woman deserves to wind down. Every hard
Absolutely.
working woman
Absolutely. Absolutely. We
deserves to
do.
wind down. And be your authentic self and allow yourself to feel, but do it from a place of peace and strategy.
Peace and strategy. Yes, but don't bottle
Like
it up. Don't, because you will explode. You might have a will moment because that's not, that felt personal. That felt like he had some things bottled up there,
listen,
some stuff happening. So don't, you got to allow yourself to have those emotions. I think, the biggest tip that I would probably leave people with is when you transition off of your 9 to 5, whether you're just done for the day, you turn on mommy hat, or you turn on your entrepreneur hat, or both, you know, you have to have that slight time, a slice of time to decompress from one
yes,
to another and to let those emotions out, whatever that decompression looks like for you, but you have to have that time. For me, sometimes it was taking like a little 30-minute nap. Sometimes it was, taking an hour and just going like working out. Like,
right.
have that decompression period to pivot between the two, as otherwise you deal with all this BS at work. Then you sweeping up that under the rug. Then you dealing with family, and don't let something happen with your kids, with your spouse. Now you dealing with that. You sweep that under the rug, and then now you're trying to do business. And at some point, let a customer talk to you sideways, and now you lashing out at them when
Right.
you really haven't addressed the other issues that happen in the day that
What's
compounded
really going on?
to get you exactly. So you got to have that decompression period before you pivot hats. And that's even just going from, being mommy mode to business mode,
Right.
like even in that, take that decompression, have a glass of wine, take that sip, relax for a moment, and then pivot into the next thing. But don't keep plowing through. I think sometimes we think we're supposed to just keep plowing through and pushing through and just, okay, now I'm gonna do this. Okay, now I'm gonna do that. Like, no, you gotta pause. You have to rest, take that moment of reflection, address those feelings, whatever emotions you may have experienced, good or bad. You know what I mean? Even if you had an amazing day at work, revel in that, celebrate that,
Right.
and then keep that same positive energy and push that towards your kids and your spouse and your family, right? If you had a negative day, don't bring that negative energy to your family. Make sure you take
Right.
your time to decompress so you can deal with it, be done with it, and then be able to be your best version of yourself and show up for your family or for your business.
Yes. I definitely like the idea of decompressing. And it also helps you sleep better at night.
Oh, yes, it does. Yes, it
Like,
does.
just letting it out before
Yes,
it's all in one place when you lay your head down for tonight.
yes.
Let it
That's
out. Do something before you go to bed at night. Like I literally sometimes have to like do like a 30-minute workout, and just so I can get the adrenaline out or the anxiousness out, or
Yes.
the frustration from, you just have to, you have to decompress in a way that's comfortable for you. Some, like, another thing that I do is when I pull up to the house, sometimes I may sit in the car for about 30 minutes. Like,
Yes.
I may just sit there and the car is suddenly an office. It's suddenly just my little feng shui, where I'm listening to music and I'm visualizing something else, at that moment, just looking at the sky, looking at the tree that I see in the distance,
Yes.
just, connecting with something to decompress my thoughts for a
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
So I'm
You
with
need
it.
those.
Have yourself a moment.
Have it, and even, and I'm gonna say this from a for all my working from home warriors. I was definitely one person. I struggled at first because I always used to say my house is my sense of peace. Like, this was always supposed to be separate. So the moment we
Yeah.
got locked down and I had to work from home, I was like, wait a minute, the same stresses from work. I can't just, and
Right.
I live in a condo, so it's not like I can go leave an office space and move to something else. Like, I'm literally leaving from my living room to my bedroom. Like, it
Right.
was a thing. But what I had to do was still to keep that decompression periods. I'll go outside for a walk. I might go for a drive. I might go work out. But I like to leave the house or do something to decompress. I couldn't, sometimes we have to force it for ourselves so we can get in work mode and just, and I
Right.
did it for a while. So I would work for my 9 to 5, and then I would just immediately switch hats and go straight into wine work, and no break in between. So all that anxiety, the energy, good, bad, or whatever that I had to go from my 9 to 5, I still am pushing and plowing through and pushing that into my business, and it wasn't productive. So I
Right.
really had
Right.
to kind of find creative ways for me to still be able to have a separation in my space, working from home and still having those stressors from work, and not allowing that to overtake my peace, which was supposed to be my house.
Right. So
Yeah.
that was a good one though. That was really good. And, like, get out the house.
Yeah.
Get out the
Yeah.
house. Get out the
Yeah.
house. Go to the bar. Get out the house. Go to the Starbucks. Go to the bar by yourself. Just get out the house for a moment if
Yeah.
you're work from home. Because I was working from home, and like when you're an entrepreneur, it's like when you get done with this, you're still there in the same position because you're on the computer.
Yes.
So, and
Yes.
I made a joke about the word computer itis. you
Yes.
know, the computer itis. Listen, that's probably why a lot of us can't decompress, because the computer itis, sitting there looking at
It's
the computer
real.
all day long, and the time is just going by.
Yeah.
Like, it just
Yeah.
gets away.
Yeah.
So we definitely got to do this again. Please tell everyone how they can get in touch with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I would love to come back. This was such a great conversation. You guys, if you want to try the wines, like I said, we have multiple wines in our collection. Definitely follow us on Instagram and Facebook at It's Her Wine. And you can check us out on our website at herwines.com. That's herwines with an S.com.
Great. So y'all make sure y'all check her out. Also, if you're not following us on IG, please do so. Thank you for all the ladies that have joined our community. Do not forget the next brunch. Listen, was the last brunch not lit?
Ooh, it was everything. It was everything. Beautiful. 10 out of 10.
Listen, ladies, make sure you are definitely registering for the next brunch at the end of this month, July, I think the 24th. If I'm if I'm saying it wrong, please just go back and watch the news, because it's very detailed in the news. But you definitely have to be at this event. There's going to be a panel of some really powerhouse women with the power of the P. So it's P with the twist now. So,
Yeah.
just in case your mind was somewhere else.
You
Uh,
know.
but P is a very powerful word, and there's a lot of words that start with the letter P that is powerful. So
Yes.
listen, make sure you all are at the next brunch. Please register at the sheeoevents.com for that event so that you are definitely there. Please make sure you come, Miss Tanya, because I definitely want to see you. And congratulations on your book signing, your book release, survivorship, y'all. Make sure y'all support.
Mm.
Listen, it's a lot of women in the CEO district that are doing big things. And please don't sleep on the CEO district. Make sure you invite your friends to the community. There are going to be some events going on. I got some news to announce really soon. So if you're in the Atlanta area, in the Smyrna area, Wind Down Wednesday, we'll have a social space to really just come together and gather and sip some wine and have a full vibe while we get to wind down in person. So be on the lookout for that, ladies. It's gonna be something to not miss. You got to at least get you one Wednesday out the month.
Yes.
One Wednesday out the month. Just one, just one. So again, thank you, ladies, for tuning in to Wind Down Wednesday. I always tell you guys, be great on purpose. Don't forget to wind down. Please don't forget to wind down. Do something for yourself, not just on a self-care Saturday, but find some time to wind down. Keep you a
Every day.
bottle of wine. Get HerWines. That way, if you just need to, before you go to bed at night, you just need to pour you like 2 swallows. Just 2 swallows. You can just get you 2 swallows, just hit it, and then
Hello.
get you another one. And just sit there and listen to some music and
Bye.
get in a whole vibe on your own so that you can give yourself permission to relax.
I love that.
Yes. So ladies, have an awesome night. If you want to continue sipping your wine, please do. Just know, you may want to take you some Tylenol or something so you can wake up real nice and ready for Thursday because the week is not
Right.
over.
Right. We got 2 more days. We
Two
got two
more
more days.
days.
2 more. Thank you so much.
Thank you again for joining me, and we definitely have to do this again. All right, everybody. Make sure if you catch the end of this, you hit hashtag replay and share this broadcast. This is Wind Down Wednesday with your girl K Marie here in the CEO district. Listen, if you have your own signature beverage and you would like to be featured on Wind Down Wednesday, please reach out to me via inbox, or you can email me, Keisha at the sheeodistrict.com, if you would like to be a guest on Wind Down Wednesday. Because listen, every girl deserves an opportunity to wind down and be her authentic self. And that's what Wind Down Wednesday is all about, ladies. So have an awesome night and hope to see you guys in the next 2 weeks to wind down with K Marie here in the CEO district, ladies.